What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality podcast. I'm your host. I'm Caitlin Kenna-Smith. And on today's episode, I honestly just wanted to talk a little bit. And I think that's kind of what the podcast is all about, right? Like, you come here to hear lessons and different experiences that I've had in the past or things that I've researched or different topics. But I also think there's a lot of value to just talking about what's on my mind and different opinions that I might have on certain subjects. Because the reality is, in life, sometimes we just need to talk. Sometimes we don't need to have a specific thing that we're focused on, that we're talking about. And sometimes we just need to kind of talk about what's on our mind. And this has been a really challenging week for me, in the sense where there's just been a lot going on. But that's kind of how I like life to be. I prefer life to be a little bit busy, a little bit hectic, because it's kind of like that you've got your back against the wall feeling, so you're more likely to push, you're more likely to take action when put in that situation, because you know that there's a lot on the line, and if you don't act now, then you could potentially lose everything. And that's kind of the mindset that I've been in over the last, I don't know, couple weeks, couple months, maybe even. But this week, with Stone coming home, and then with my back being still not great after re-injuring it last week, and having PT this week, and just having to move around a lot of appointments and client calls that I've had just due to Stone coming home and spending a day with him, it's just been a different week, we'll say, which always makes you feel a little bit off when you're out of your routine. Like, humans thrive in routine. Like, I know that most of you probably know what I'm talking about when you go on a vacation, for example, and you're so excited to be on vacation, but then after like a couple days, you're ready to be back into your routine, just because it's what's comfortable, it's what you know, and we just don't like unknown things, which is kind of where I wanted to go with this. So every Thursday in the Powerhouse Mentality community Facebook group, I post just a simple written post, and it's called Thursday Thoughts. And really, the premise of it is I just want to kind of express what's on my mind in that moment. And maybe it'll help you, maybe it won't, maybe you can relate, maybe you can't. But I feel like if one person can relate, and maybe the words that I'm saying or the message that I'm giving can help at least one person take action or feel better, then I win. And that's really what my mission is all about. My mission is to help you stop tolerating your own bullshit or stop tolerating your own excuses, to finally win in life. Because we get one life, you deserve to fucking win. But most people don't ever win. They just try to avoid losses. So if you're avoiding losing so much, usually you never actually win. You just kind of settle, and you just, you don't live a bad life, but you don't live anything really exceptional. And you definitely don't touch the dreams that you wanted at one point. And every single day, and this is a crazy thought to think about, but every single day, somebody gives up on their dream. Thousands of people give up on their dream every single day. And you get to make the choice if that's going to be you or not. And for me, right now, my head's been in so many different directions, where I'm focused on building my one-on-one coaching business and tending to my clients and giving them exponential value, so that way they can become better versions of themselves and win in life, right? They can stop tolerating their own bullshit. And the way that we do that is, yes, I'm a health and fitness coach. I've been in the fitness industry for about 11 to 12 years, somewhere in the middle there. And I've been training and coaching people for that amount of time. I did take a little bit of time off coaching people one-on-one to manage gyms, but that was a very brief period of time. And I was still actively helping people on the side online. And then when COVID started, or when, the gyms got shut down, I just went all in and saying, you know what? I'm going to really focus on helping people and building the one-on-one coaching side of my life, because I feel like that's my calling. I feel like I'm meant to help other people become better. And I was already doing that, managing a gym. I'm signing people up for memberships, and I'm having conversations with them about, well, what are your goals? Why do you want to sign up for the gym? And helping them or guiding them in the right direction, or, handing them off to the fitness director or a personal trainer who could maybe help them further. But also my job was to help train and lead my team. And there's a difference between managing and leading. And I think that's something that a lot of people get confused about. They say they're a leader when in all reality, they're just a manager, or they assume that they're a manager, so they don't need to lead people. But if you're a good leader, then the people under you will always be better. It's funny because when I did manage gyms, there were gyms who would be at the bottom. Like we had, I think at the time where I was working for the company, we had like 49 or 50 clubs throughout the country. And every morning we would get an email with everybody's updated stats, like where each club was at in the company. So if you were closer to goal, then you were higher up on the list. And for the longest time, there were so many gyms that were just at the bottom of the totem pole, right? There was this gym in Raleigh called Celebration, and it was known as like the prison cell because it was the least tended to, it was the most neglected gym. And generally it's where the general manager who was there was either going there to get fired at one point, or they were just becoming a general manager. So it was kind of like their test. And so when I went from sales manager at the top club in the company, North Hills in Raleigh, North Carolina, which was the biggest club in the area, I was the top sales manager there, was the top sales manager in the company, and inevitably it ended up with me getting a promotion to general manager when finally I was able to lead people and not just make sales. So when they moved me to Celebration to take on the prison cell, it was at the bottom of the company. And one of the things that I really focused on when I was there was culture and building a team. Because at that point, I was reading a lot of leadership books, because up until I got that promotion, my district manager and the VP and all of the people were so impressed with my sales and with my numbers. However, they kept telling me that you need to do more than just sell. You need to be a leader in order to be a general manager versus being a sales manager. So that's when I focused on, okay, let me develop this skill of leadership. And that's when I really started to take charge there and become a better leader. So when I moved over to Celebration, I was so focused on building a culture with my team, training my team to be the best, and being a good leader, helping them become better. And I knew that if I did that, then the sales would show for themselves. And it did. And I brought that company, or I brought that gym up into the top 5. And I think there was a point in time where we were like number 2 or number 3 out of all the gyms in the company, not just in North Carolina. So Texas was like where all of the giant fitness connections were. And it was always like a Texas club that was at the top. But I was like beating those clubs out. And it was cool to see how you can take a club with poor leadership, put a good leader in, and you can see how the entire culture and the entire thing changes. Which is why I think in life, no matter what career you're in, it's so important to have communication skills, sales skills, and leadership skills. Because these 3 things, communication, sales, and leadership, you're going to be able to carry over into every single area of your life. A lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not in sales, so I don't need to be good at sales. I don't need to pay attention to that. But every single day, you're selling yourself in some way, shape, or form. If you're in a relationship, you're constantly selling yourself to your partner. If you're trying to get in a relationship, then you're constantly trying to sell yourself to other people. When you go on a date, you're selling yourself. Same thing with like coaches. Like I'm a coach right now. And one of the biggest things I have to do is sell my clients on the idea that like, hey, we need to eat enough protein because that's going to help you reach your fitness goals. And that's just an example. But every single day, at some point in time, you are selling yourself or selling something or an idea to somebody else. Even if you're just on social media commenting in somebody's post and you're trying to like argue with maybe an idea that they presented, you're trying to sell them on your opinion. So if you don't have sales skills, it's going to be really difficult for you to be your best in life, because sometimes it's just selling yourself on the idea that you have to do shit, right? Because I always talk about how the foundation to you accomplishing your goals is to keep the commitments that you make to yourself. Now, a lot of the times, the reasons why people don't keep commitments to themselves is because their limiting beliefs almost sell them on the idea not to take action. So if I'm somebody who wants to lose 20 pounds, but every single time I start a fitness journey, I'm good for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden I self-sabotage myself because I have this false limiting belief that I don't believe enough in myself, or I'm not enough, or I don't deserve success. So once I start getting a little taste of success, I throw my hands up and I don't believe I deserve it, so I'm going to stop. And we do this subconsciously. And it's not until you become aware of it that you can actually change it. But that limiting belief sold the fuck out of you. But if you had better sales skills, you could sell it on the idea of, hey, you know what? I do deserve this. And here's how I can back that up, because I'm going to the gym every day. I'm getting my protein intake in. I'm tracking my nutrition. I'm sleeping. I'm managing my stress. I'm doing all the things that I need to do to earn this goal and to earn this result. So I do deserve this. And that's why it's so important not just to believe in yourself, but to couple that belief with action. I say it all the time. Action cures everything. In fact, I kind of like sparked some ideas because I'm in a very creative state right now where I've been working a lot on the business instead of just in the business. So right now, just to give you guys a little bit of an insight look, Stone and I are really focusing on developing more apparel and really focusing on better quality and getting the best stuff out to you guys. Now, right now, I'm very fucking happy with the apparel that we've put out as far as quality. Like, I have received zero negative feedback about the quality on the clothing, and I love it myself, but we want to do more. We want to do better, right? Because that's how you get better in life, and that's how you continue to grow, is you always are looking for more. So I'm super satisfied with what we've done so far. And if you haven't checked out our apparel, I'll put the link down below in the description like I always do. We have plenty of stuff. The Tri-Blend t-shirt is probably my favorite because it's so soft and so cozy, as well as the polyester hoodies, nice and light for the summer. But now that we're getting into fall, might not be the best. But the Tri-Blend t-shirt is my true. I love that shit. But again, we're trying to make everything even better and do even more. So coming out with like really attention to detail products and putting our vision into reality. And just thinking about what I said before, action cures everything. Like, that's something I would love to put on the back of a t-shirt, because the thing about apparel is, like, I never thought that I would want to make apparel, but the reason why I'm really focused on it now with fitness apparel and like athleisure wear is because one of the biggest things that I've always had to deal with throughout my entire life is just I hate the way that a lot of clothes fit me. I feel so uncomfortable and not confident in most of the stuff. And then I'll find, a couple pieces that I really, really like, and I'll like wear them all the fucking time. But I want to be able to create something that I feel comfortable and confident in that other people can relate to. And I think that it's a really great opportunity for me to say, this is what I don't like about fitness apparel. And same thing with Stone. Like, this is what I don't like about those shorts or that sports bra or that t-shirt. But how can we fix that problem? Like, this is the problem. How can we fix it? And that's how you start any sort of a business. So I think that a lot of people think that, like, right now in this time, everybody is an entrepreneur. When in all reality, like, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, but not a lot of people are willing to do the work that it actually takes to be a successful entrepreneur. What you don't realize is that you go from working a 9 to 5 to working 24/7. And, you have to make a lot of sacrifices. And I think that a lot of people aren't cut out for it because they don't have the skin for it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because, again, I think that in today's day and age, so many people think that you need to be an entrepreneur because that's what's trending or that's what's impressive right now. And I think that's fucking stupid. I think that if you work for a really great company and you want to excel there, then that's amazing. And you should lean into that, because there are a lot of successful entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Some people just don't have the grit for it. Like I said, some people just don't have it. I think that you need to have a little bit of like that entrepreneurial mindset to go into it, to be able to handle all of the challenges and the people that you have to deal with. It's literally like you're constantly putting out fires, and then you have one like hole in one every, it's not as often as you think it would be. You strike out way more than you hit home runs, but that's life. Like, even the best baseball players in history have more strikeouts than they do home runs. The problem is that most people, when they strike out, they say, well, guess baseball's not for me. When they could have gone to bat the next time and hit a home run. But they stopped because they failed once or because they had a tough time once. And I know that this podcast right now is kind of all over the place. But again, it's just kind of me talking and getting my thoughts out. Now, back to what I was talking about, though, with the Thursday thoughts, because I know I went off on a little bit of a tangent, but I want to bring it back because the thing that I spoke about, it was very simple. And it was stop thinking and start acting. And I've been hearing this a lot, and it's been really resonating with me. And I really believe that, like, if I'm hearing something over and over again, whether it be in, like, different podcasts that I'm listening to, or I'm seeing it on social media, or I'm reading it in books, or it's just being presented to me, I take it as a sign of, I should probably open my mind and fucking listen to this. Because I think it's really easy for us to think that we are not overthinking things and that we are taking action. But then I really go into what I've been doing over the last week, and I'm like, wow, I've been doing a lot of just like researching on certain things when it comes to building the business and what exactly I want to do and what direction I want to go in with the Powerhouse Mentality and the apparel and everything. And I've been doing so much research that I've realized that I haven't acted. And last night I was listening to a podcast and they said this exact thing. Like, you just have to go, like, and figure it out. And I say it to my clients all the time, like, you can't let fear or doubt hold you back, or the what ifs hold you back. It's kind of like if you're standing on the side of a cliff and you know that if you jumped, you could potentially reach your goal, but you also know that you could fail if you jumped and you could splat on the floor. But you have to just jump and build your parachute on the way down and trust that you can and you will. And it's really difficult, so difficult, in fact, that most people don't do it. Most people just gather information and they never actually take action on it. So if you want to do something, if you want to build something, you want to create something, you want to achieve something, you have to get out of the research phase and literally throw yourself into the development phase, right? We have research and development. Research is super important, right? Because you don't want to, for example, with the apparel business, like if I'm looking up manufacturers, I don't want to like just dive into one and then realize I got scammed and their quality is shit and now I just wasted a ton of money ordering samples from a company that I will never work with. But you have to fail, again, in order to succeed. So, you know, if I were to do such a thing, I took the L and now we move forward and we learn from it. It's the same thing with, if you guys have been part of the Powerhouse Mentality, then you know that we launched something called the Wheel of Competition. And then very quickly I realized, this isn't the direction that we want to go. We didn't market it properly. A lot of people were confused on what it was. There wasn't a lot of clarity in the mission. And there was just too much noise with the Powerhouse Mentality initially. Like, we have all these recipes and, we're doing this apparel and then we have the competition leaderboard. And I'm like, where does any of this fit into the Powerhouse Mentality? Like, my original mission when I first started this podcast in 2022 was to help people see that they are limitless. And that's where I transferred it into help you stop tolerating your own bullshit, which I may have to censor because I think that a lot of people may get butthurt by it, but, I'm thinking about it. But help you stop tolerating your own excuses or your own BS to finally win in life. And again, what the fuck does that have to do with recipes and leaderboards that are confusing, that aren't too much noise? If my consumer, if my client, if you guys, my listeners, don't understand how the Powerhouse Mentality can be the solution to the internal problem that you're struggling with, then you don't care and I don't get to help you. So instead, we're shifting things. I don't want to say we're revamping things or that we're doing a brand, revamp, whatever. We're shifting and we're pivoting. And this is all part of business, right? Again, most people strike out more than they hit home runs. So we struck out. And that's okay because we're revamping and we're getting more focused and clear on the mission of what we want to do. So all I have to do is to find clarity on the problem that I'm solving for you and not just an external problem. Because if I were to say to a client, cool, I'm going to help you lose 20 pounds, they'd be like, great, like that's awesome. But why should I care, right? Because at the end of the day, the thought of losing 20 pounds is not going to get you out of bed at 5 a.m. when it's freezing outside and you told yourself you were going to go to the gym, but now you don't feel like it. So the 20-pound weight loss goal ain't getting you up. But what is going to get you up is I want to look at myself in the mirror and I want to feel fucking confident. I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror and smile and be proud of who I am. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. I want to be proud of the person that's looking back at me. And that's what I want to do for you. I want you to be able to look in the mirror every day and be proud of the person that's staring back at you, because you damn well know that you're doing everything in your power to build the life that you want, and you're not settling. Too many people settle. This society is too soft. Most people are unwilling to get uncomfortable. That's why I always say, hey, we need to never stop learning. We need to intentionally seek discomfort every day and keep the commitments that you make to yourself. Because all of those things are going to lead to you becoming the best version of you, whatever that looks like for you. Because it looks different for everybody else. Some people want to build an incredible business. Some people want to build an incredible family. Some people want to build an incredibly muscular physique that is like, holy shit when you look at it. Some people just want to live until they're 100 years old. Whatever you want, you can have it if you never stop learning, you intentionally seek discomfort, and you keep the commitments that you make to yourself. And that is what this brand is all about. And when I can help you solve that internal problem through focusing on not just the nutrition and the fitness aspect of it, but really diving into the mindset, because that's what it's all about, the mindset. Most people don't realize how much their emotions and their beliefs or their limiting beliefs hold them back. Most people know what to do. If I want to lose 20 pounds, I can go to Google and say, how do I lose 20 pounds? And it'll pop up with so much information. But guess what? None of that fucking matters unless you're in the right mind space or the right mindset or headspace to take action. Because again, most people stay in this cycle where they kind of just maintain being 20 pounds overweight for their entire adult life. For a few reasons. One, they never actually commit to something. They're just interested in getting fit, but it's not bad enough that they actually commit to it, because when it gets uncomfortable, they just say, fuck this, and go right back to what they usually do. Or they just give up because it gets too challenging and they allow other people to influence their decisions. And then everybody's always looking for, the next piece of information or the next piece of tech that can help them or that can relieve the obesity epidemic in the world. But tech and more information isn't the solution. We have plenty of those things. We have plenty of information. We have plenty of technology. In fact, I would argue that sometimes we have too much information, where people have so much information on their plate about nutrition, about fitness, that they have no idea where to begin. So then they just don't do anything because they're so overwhelmed. It's that paralysis by analysis. But what it is, it's behavioral change. It's mindset change. That's the solution. You have to change your relationship with food. You have to change your relationship with self for this to stick forever, so you can actually earn results that last and make them stick. Most people know when they have a problem. If you have a problem, you know. You know. Most of you listening to this know. You're not stupid. You've just been approaching the problem incorrectly, and there's way too much bullshit information on the internet that's causing you to just crash and burn every single time you attempt at your goal. That leads to disaster. That leads to you settling and giving up. And I don't blame you. If you're literally approaching the problem not correctly, and then you have all this bullshit information flowing into your mind, it's almost like you're digging and digging, but you keep hitting a fucking brick wall. And I want to be like that sledgehammer or that guide. I'll be the guide that hands you the sledgehammer so you can break through that brick wall, because it's way more empowering when you break through it. If I broke the brick wall for you, then you wouldn't fucking learn anything. So I'm going to be your guide to give you that sledgehammer and teach you the right technique to be able to break through that brick wall so that you can finally get to where you want to go. And that is exactly what the Powerhouse Mentality is all about. When it comes to the coaching side, the one-on-one coaching with my clients, we get on phone calls, we get on Zoom calls, we focus on the nutrition, we focus on the fitness, we focus on the mindset. I help you become the best version of you, and I hold your hand the whole damn way. I am your guide to help you become the hero of your own story. I'm the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker. Think of it like that. One-on-one coaching, link is always in the description for you to apply. I take on a very select few people each month, and you have to apply and get on a phone call with me where I almost interview you to see if you are correct for the program, because some people aren't right for the program. I'm not going to take anybody who isn't truly committed to seeing results. Now, if you are committed to seeing results, then you're going to get the fucking best results because I'm not going to let you fail. Link is always in the description of the podcast for you to apply. Most people won't because, one, they don't believe in themselves, or two, they don't want to take the risk. But then they will listen to a podcast of mine 6 months later where I talk about one-on-one coaching, and they're still in the same damn spot or worse because they never took action. So it's up to you. The amount of people who I speak with on social media, who I've been speaking with for 3-4 years, who are still asking the same damn questions and are still complaining about the same old shit because they haven't taken action. It's up to you. Like, you can continue to waste your life or you can take action. And that doesn't mean you have to apply for one-on-one coaching. It just means you have to take some sort of action. If one-on-one coaching is the action that you need, I'm here. If it's not, do something that will help you move forward. And that goes with the apparel too. Is like, I want people to feel good and confident, and I want them to wear the mission. I want them to feel proud when they're wearing our clothing. I want them to love the person that they are and be able to show that off, that hard work that they're doing, not just with their physical self, but with their emotional and mental self. I want them to show that off. Like the Powerhouse Mentality, what's that all about? That's about me working on me and believing in myself and being the best damn person I can be and helping other people do the same. That's what it's all about. So, again, this podcast was all about just me talking, you know? And the last thing I wanted to touch on actually was, you know, I'll finish off the Thursday thoughts that I've been going off of because I think that this is just so invaluable. Like, guys, you have a goal. I know you have a goal. I know you want to build something, create something, achieve something. Like I said, you have to get out of that research phase and you have to literally throw yourself into the development stage. And it's going to be messy. You're going to have to take messy action, but you just have to take it. Podcasts, videos, books, all the information out there on the internet is amazing. It's great. But what are you actually doing with that information is what matters. Are you just letting it sit and stew in your brain and take up space, or are you actually applying it? Most people, they need to consume less and they need to create more. Consume less, create more. Words may inspire you, but the reality is, guys, action creates change. So you just have to go. If you ever need anything, shoot me over an email. My email is always down below. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I want to serve you. I want to help you become the best version of you. That is my commitment to you. And that is exactly why I do this podcast. I make absolutely $0 from this podcast, but I fucking love it and I'll always continue to do it. So go out and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.